Hello, my paranormal peeps. Welcome back to the Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. This is an exciting one. This is number 40. So that's pretty cool. We're not quite a year in. We've done 40 podcasts. For some of you, you're going, yeah, I do that, in a month or whatever. But for us, that's pretty good. We try and do a podcast every week to talk about different things that we're doing paranormally wise, or we just talk about paranormal creatures, or we talk about hauntings or anything like that, crypto creatures, strange stuff happening, UFOs. So this is basically a paranormal podcast is what it is. All right, guys. So again, this is our 40th podcast. We're super excited about this. Amanda, unfortunately, is still at work, so I had to do the podcast by myself, but that's okay. So yes, that is a creepy haunted doll behind me. If you go to our YouTube channel, deepwoodsparanormal.com, Deepwoods Paranormal, do a search under the YouTube, you'll find us. We have done a couple sessions with her. We've done a few spirit box sessions with her now. Only one that I recorded. I did about 5 or 6 without recording it. Just to make sure there was actually some kind of activity that was going to happen. If you don't know our channel and you don't know our podcasts, we got her about 2 months ago now. And she's been sitting kind of in the spot you see her now for that period of time. There has been some activity in the house. Recently, it just dropped off, which is great. I don't like to have paranormal activity where I live. So essentially she, we don't know if she has an attachment or not. If you look right here, there's a pair of spectacles too that they used when they went to the theater. Those are really old. They're probably over 100 years old. So, and then right here, the boxes right here, those are past dogs, and we have had some activity, some strange dog-like activity in the house too. What happens is at night is the dog, the little one, the little Tinkerbell, if you've seen our YouTube channel, you've seen little Miss Tinkerbell. She's about the size of a football. She's a little Min Pin Chihuahua. Can't talk today. And so essentially she'll come over and she'll scratch the side of the bed to let me know she wants up. Well, that keeps happening to me. I feel like scratching on the side of the bed, and I look down, there's no dog. And I know Tink's in between a man and I, and the other 3 little dogs are down at the end of the bed. So anyways, our house, we've done spirit box sessions here before. This is a brand new house. It was built on an area where there was nothing else. It was just forest. And they cut into the forest, unfortunately, to make the land. And they built the house here for us, which is awesome. The only thing I've seen here, again, if you've been on our podcast before or seen a YouTube channel, you probably heard me talking about this, is an Indian woman. And she's about 5 feet tall. And normally she isn't very active. I always see her from behind, which is weird. I see her really long jet black hair that goes down to about her buttocks. And so she's just here. She's just cruising around, kind of keeping quiet, which is awesome. So we don't know exactly what her story is. We've never been able to get her to talk through the spirit box or anything. Normally when we do a spirit box session, there's no activity at all, nothing. Very little comes through. It does the noise it makes, and little blips and whatever come through, but it's not like a voice. It's just the radio scanning through. So anyways, you ask why I bring up the doll. I want to talk about attachments. Attachments are real. They do happen. We had a client that, I'm not going to go into too much detail about her or anything else because I don't want her to get mad if she sees this podcast, but we had a client that we just figured out. I'm pretty sure this is a brand new case that we're doing. We are pretty sure that something was attached to a piece of furniture in her house. And essentially, it seems like whatever was going on with that piece of furniture, the spirit didn't want her to have it or use it or whatever. And basically, it would, shake that piece of furniture and do all kinds of other things at night while the client was trying to sleep, and just basically distracting her, trying to keep her up, um, pretty much to show, anger and frustration. Hey, this is mine. So attachments do happen. I think the doll might have an attachment. I also think the spectacles might have an attachment, and there might be other things in this house, in this room, basically, um, that might have attachments too. Very rarely do I bring haunted objects home. Normally, I'll dispose of them in a safe way or deliver them to a church or whatever, if I'm going to bring something like that home, or it stays in the garage, locked in a case somewhere, blessed. The case is usually blessed, and I have to bless that case about every year. Um, so, anyways, so yeah, we've been helping her. We just figured out that was the situation, and we were able to remove that object, and now everything's gone quiet again. Another interesting thing, we did get a lot of hits on the spirit box when we were trying to communicate with whoever was there. These spirits, essentially, it sounds like, and I don't have exact proof of this, I'm still working on learning the history. And again, it's so important to know the history of the area you're working in, whether it's a hotel, a house, a business, whatever, ship. Knowing the history of the location, or what happened to the possible spirits that were there, can help you greatly in getting evidence of paranormal activity, and to communicate with them. If you talk to them like they're another person, you're going to get a lot further. So we found out these people, and if anybody here, I don't want anybody to take offense to this. This is just history. We're against slavery and everything, but these spirits were slaves at one point in time, and unfortunately they died in some kind of fire, and so they were attached to the land, and we were actually able to go ahead and cross them over. They did cross over, and now they're at peace. So again, that was very, very fascinating, to have them come through. We got a bunch of different names, we got dates. We they said fire. The words fire came through the spirit box. We found out there was a mom and a dad and 4 little kids, and there was possibly 2 other spirits too. Maybe they had 6 kids. I can't remember exactly. I have it all written down. But here's the strange thing about this case. I recorded audio, twice. The first time with one single audio recorder. Had a video camera on, thank God, documenting our EVP session and spirit box session. And I got home to listen to the audio because I was really, excited to hear the audio. Nothing. There's no files there. I looked at the audio recorder before I left. There was 5 audio recordings. But yet, when I went to download it, there wasn't anything. It was the weirdest thing ever. And so the video, thank God, didn't get messed with. We were able to show the the client, the video, and let her, see what exactly we documented. And then also we did another session because the activity kind of picked back up again. And this is when we crossed the spirits over. I had 2 audio recorders going. I know they're recording. I know I saved the files. I saw one had 5 audio recordings on it, and another one had 15, probably from previous investigations. I don't delete the audio off the recordings till I know for sure that I'm done, and I've archived those files into an external hard drive or something else, so that they don't get lost if my computer crashes or whatever. I can pull them up on another computer or something. That's another thing if you're just starting into the paranormal. Always back up everything at least twice. Not once, but twice. Put it on a thumb drive. Put it on a CD. Put it on external hard drive, put it somewhere else. Put it in a Google folder. Put it somewhere where you're not going to lose it, so that if you go to show your clients, this evidence, it's there. A lot of lessons learned with this lost investigation. So yeah, again, know your location. I always say know your location, know the history, or try and at least learn as much as you can. I'm going to be going over to the Carnegie Hall here in Bryan one of these days, and I want to find out more information, not about that certain location, but that whole area. There was a lot of different things that I'm not used to out here in Texas. There was a lot of plantations out here and farms and stuff like that. So I really want to learn more about the history of Bryan itself, because this is the town I live in. This is where we kind of do some of our research, and then we also explore a lot of little towns around us. If you don't know Texas and you're just kind of listening in, so Texas is one of those towns where everything's kind of spread apart. If you look on a map, you can find Houston. Look to the left of the map, you'll find San Antonio. And then you go up to the top of the Texas area, you'll find Dallas and Austin. We're kind of somewhat in between those three areas. We're within a couple hours of Houston, a couple hours of about 4 hours from San Antonio, and also about 4 or 5 hours from Dallas. So in between those are the major towns in this area. There's also Waco. Waco is a pretty good city. That's on the way to Dallas. But the towns out here are kind of, you drive out of the little towns and it's 20 miles, 30 miles to the next town. And some of the towns you just drive through and there's like 20 homes. I mean, old homes, old historical homes. It's so awesome. It's just really cool out here. I really like this area because there is so much history and there's been so much stuff that's happened. And that leads to basically hopefully getting paranormal or ghost hunting cases. All right, so we're going to turn the page here. I know a lot of people are very excited that we're going to be doing a lot more Bigfoot research coming up here. We're already starting. Amanda and I are going to go out this weekend, and I have a new location I want to check out. I thought I saw a tree structure driving down past one of the forested areas by one of the campgrounds. That's in the Sam Houston National Forest. There are multiple sightings of Bigfoots in this area. One of these days, what I'll do is I'll take the map that I have. I might as well show everybody, and I'll show you all the documentation just in Texas pretty much that I have for Bigfoots, because there's a pattern and it's pretty cool. I'm not going to give away all my secrets, but I'm going to definitely tell you or show you around a little bit and kind of show you our research areas. I won't show you every area because we have places where we are actively investigating or continuing to investigate Bigfoot research and or Bigfoot activity, I should say. And I don't want to give those locations away because I don't want, number one, we don't want hoaxers showing up. Number two, we love our fans, and it's awesome if you want to come with us. Let us know. We're always happy to have people come with us, especially people to help document stuff and maybe have an experience or two, which would be awesome. But we want to make sure that we keep it small, we keep it quiet, and then basically we just keep the Bigfoot's comfortable too. Our plan is not just to go to one location one and done. We don't want to go there just once and maybe have activity or go there and strike out completely. We want to continually, if we know there's Bigfoot activity there, we can see prints, we can find hairs, we can, we hear a howl or a tree, what we think is a tree knock. And it has to be a combination of a lot of these. We find footprints. There's tree structures. We want to go back to these locations and we want to continually build a relationship with these creatures. We want to have them become comfortable with us, maybe comfortable enough to actually walk out and show themselves or whatever, we can do. So these areas, I mean, you can't really gift too much because you're not allowed to leave corn and all this other stuff due to the hunting regulations out here. That's another thing. Know your location. When you go out into the forest, you have to be very careful about following regulations. There's a lot of private property out here. There's a lot of locations you just can't go into because of certain regulations or people's property. So we actually just have a new client from down by the Houston area, believe it or not. He lives in a very forested area that's now being developed. And so the sad part of the Bigfoot research, the Bigfoot area is shrinking and in this territory. So there's been a lot more sightings. The Bigfoots are actually just, from what the client told me, they're walking through the middle of residential areas. Broad daylight, walking through. What's cool about this location, if you've ever been to Texas or any other state where there's a lot of forest, they clear cut almost like a channel, like a 20-foot wide, almost like a road, so they can get to it with their utility trucks and stuff for any telephone poles, any gas, or oil that runs on the ground. They basically have that area just completely cleared. And it basically is like this long road. And it just goes for miles and miles and miles and miles. So the theory is that Bigfoots use these channels to migrate around. This client reminds me a lot of Joe's camp. He has a lot of the same setup as Joe does up in his camp. Not as much land, but that doesn't seem to matter. They seem to just be kind of coming through his area and then moving on. But they always come in from midnight to like 6 in the morning. They might actually be there in the daylight too, but he hasn't seen them during the daylight very much. Of course, he's not really home. So essentially, I went down and we checked this place out. There's a freshwater spring running literally about 30 or 40 feet behind his house. There was some tree structures. You'll see that in the video that's going to come out. And then we both heard at one point in time, I heard it once when we were first walking into the forest, I heard a growl. And I'm looking around going, okay, the homes behind him, they all have acreage. They're all pretty far spread apart. They're 30, 40, 50, 60 feet apart from each other. On the one side, on the other side of the river, on his side, it's more like 30, 40 feet apart. And in the middle is this forested area in between him and the other homes. And that creek runs down the middle of there. We found some footprints. We also found, if you're watching our YouTube channel, we found a hair sample with, if you look right close to my finger, that's possibly some skin. Now this sample is about 2 years old. Unfortunately, it was left out. It was never collected. There was an old barbed wire fence there, and now it has fencing up against it. But essentially what happened was that he thinks that either the Bigfoot stepped over the barbed wire, and the barbed wire is about my chest height. It's not short. It's about 5 feet in the air. And it looks like something just, a barb got him, or it, or her, whatever you want to call them. And then essentially it stepped over there, caught itself. I don't know if there's any blood mixed in with that. I would hope there would be. But this does not look like it came from the cow. The hairs are very long. They're kind of, I wouldn't say they're stringy. They're pretty straight. And like I said, there's a piece where essentially the skin looks like it got kind of ripped off. So, we'll send that out for a DNA analysis. We'll see if we have any kind of DNA from that. It was sitting out there for so long, 2 years, and through the weather and all that stuff. But with the skin on there still, there could be a small chance, or if there's blood on there, there could be a small chance that it is a some kind of maybe a Bigfoot. Could be a cow, but I'm pretty sure it's a Bigfoot. We also found a cow's tooth out there. He was kind of cruising around, and he found some bones, and he found a tooth, which is awesome. So we collected that. It's an old tooth. It's probably been sitting out there decaying for a long time. When I looked it up online, I looked at the picture of it. It does look a lot like a... let me shut down. I don't know if you guys can see this very well. That tooth is ginormous. So this is my finger right next to it. I mean, it's probably almost twice the width of my finger, and it's got to be almost an inch long. And if you look down in the little grooves, oops, sorry, wasn't prepared for this. There's some ridges on the teeth. So if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see that. So essentially, when I looked that up online, it looked like a cow's tooth. I'm going to have another person look at it just to make sure. But that definitely looks like a cow's tooth. That looks like it's really, really old. I don't know how old it is, but we may send that out for DNA sample as well, just to make sure it's not a cow's tooth. So anyways, really cool finds. We trudged around for about an hour out there. You guys will see that video coming up here on our YouTube channel here probably later next week. And so a very cool location. We're going to definitely have to go back and do a night investigation. It's going to have to be like a real quiet investigation. No tree knocks, no screams, because there's just people there, and we don't want the cops getting called on us. But they use this path that comes behind his house where the trees are, where the small forested area is, and they trudge through there and at night, and they make all kinds of noise. He says that they basically don't care that they know that he's there. I mean that, they don't care that they know that he can hear them or anybody else can. They just don't seem to care about people. He's seen the same one over and over and over again. He actually just sent me a picture of what looks like a juvenile Bigfoot. It's only about 4 feet tall. So I don't think that's ever going to see the light of day, but maybe in the future if he agrees to it. So anyways, you guys stay paranormal. And we'll definitely be coming to you soon with some more Bigfoot evidence, hopefully more Bigfoot research, and we will be hitting a cemetery fairly soon. I want to get over to this old cemetery where we had a really good spirit box session. If you've seen the YouTube show where we were basically playing hide and seek with the little kids, that's the cemetery I'm talking about. That was the Thompson kids. And we actually were able to, if you haven't seen that show, we were actually able to verify all of their names. Hey, pup. No. Mary. Sorry, I ended up with both cats in here at the same time. So anyways, yeah, they're over on top of the gear over there. That's why it's making all that clicking and clacking. All right. So anyways, again, you guys stay paranormal, and we'll catch you on the next episode. If you're wanting to know what our YouTube channel is, it's Deep Woods Paranormal. You can just do a search on the YouTube search, and you should be able to find us. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you very much for all your support. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.